what is data science? What is this big data is all about? Why all of us who are searching for career growth, who are searching for jobs, who are searching for career excellence, who want to, make a great career in today's world, what are the opportunities available with this industry, that is data science, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, etc. So prior to that, let us first understand what is data. So data is nothing but all sorts of information available in entire universe. Now, when I say information, so I'm not saying that information is simply which is documented or which is tabulated. Information is everywhere. Whatever you are seeing, you are capturing the information. Whatever you are hearing, you are capturing the information. Whatever you are thinking or visualizing, that is again called as information. Your photographs, image files, your text files, your website's content, the data available in your Excel sheet in tabulated format, your audio files, your video files, your WhatsApp messages, your SMSs, the number of apps you have downloaded in your mobile or your system. All these things are nothing but the information. And that is what is called as data. So what is big data? When this data, what we have just understood, is in humongous of the size, in a huge size, then we call it as a big data. So it's not a rocket science. It is just a buzzwords nowadays. Everybody is talking about big data, big data, big data. So big data is not a rocket science. Big data is nothing but the humongous amount of data. And why it has got so much importance nowadays only because of these three V's. That is the volume, velocity, and variety. So when we say volume, we are talking about the amount of data. Okay. So some of the experts say that the amount of data that we are generating nowadays, we means the entire universe. The amount of that data is so huge, or you can say the daily amount of data generation is so huge that it is almost equivalent to the data has been generated since the human beings inception till early 2000 or mid 2000. That total amount of data we are generating nowadays on every single day or in couple of days. That is the volume of data we are generating nowadays. And we are not simply generating the data, but the second V tells us that the velocity, the speed of that data. Just try to visualize that, or just try to imagine, or just try to feel how many WhatsApp messages we all of us. Okay, so there are, they say 700 billion people, 700 crore people living on planet Earth. So we are just simply talking about If suppose we consider that only human beings are generating the data, which is not the truth. It is not only humans are generating the data. There are so many other different entities which are generating the data. But we are simply considering that if suppose we consider that human beings are developing or generating the data, then there are 700 crore people living on this planet Earth that generating the data. Let's consider that half of them, that is maybe 350 crore people, are using the smartphones. And almost 80% of them are having maybe Facebook account, maybe LinkedIn account, maybe they are doing some activities on Google, maybe they are having WhatsApp, WeChat. And they are doing some activity over there. Every activity is generating or transferring the data. I always give this example that maybe 30 years back, when we were young, I mean, maybe I was in third or fourth standard, I remember we used to have a camera roll, a camera which carries the roll. Even nowadays, those cameras are available, but then still, that time only those cameras were available, and the roll capacity or the roll size was only 36 photos. So in those days, late 70s, early 80s, some of the families who were having the access to those cameras used to use maybe one roll or two rolls for entire year, which means the entire family can have 36 or maybe 72 photographs shots in a year. Then they used to develop it into the studio. Then they will the studio person will give you the album. You label that album maybe 1981, 1987, 1992, something like that. We used to keep it in Almari, and then when the get together or the family members are coming together, other family members as well, and then we used to see all those photographs and have the chipsets and all. So that rare incidents, these photographs and all were. And nowadays, with the smartphone, everybody is having the smartphone now. If you press that button, that red button, just for 3 seconds, you will get 35 photographs readily available or taken in just 3 seconds. Just try to imagine that how many of us are using selfies. Every now and then, when something exciting we see, we try to snap a photograph. Now, if we have considered that 350 crore people are using smartphones, and even half of them, or maybe even 25% of them, are taking selfies every day, at least one, just imagine the size of photographs we are generating. And let's say every photograph is maybe around a size of 1 MB, or maybe 250 KB, or maybe 750 KB, whatever, it is having a size. Just imagine that what type of data we are generating. And this is a very simple layman's example I am giving. So this is what we are talking about, the volume and the velocity. And we have just discussed about only images or photographs. Just think about that how many WhatsApp text messages we are receiving. How many posts are being posted on Facebook? How many posts are being posted on LinkedIn? How many bloggers are blogging on blogging sites? How many people are writing articles? Nowadays, newspapers have become online. They have their own websites. Every second or few, you will find a new news over there in text format, at times attached with a clip with it, maybe an audio file, maybe a video file. Hundreds of newspapers are there in India. All of them are generating new news, same news, differently. In this all process, what we are doing, we are generating different data, new data, and with a quick speed. It is not we are talking only about the Facebook post. It is not only we are talking about the LinkedIn post. It is not only we are talking about the blogs on the blogging sites, the articles on the article sites. There are people who are responding to these posts and articles and blogs in the way of comments. Now, thousands of people are writing comments. At times, some people are writing the comments which are 3 times the size of the original post. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the volume is huge, the speed is again very fast, and the types of data are different. That is a variety, which means we are talking about text, we are talking about audio files, we are talking about video files, we are talking about GIFs, we are talking about some other formats of data. So when it comes to variety, broadly it has been divided into 2 classes. One is structured and one is unstructured. So structured is something like we have labeled data as we have seen in Excel sheet in rows and columns. That is called structured data. All other thing apart from this, it comes under unstructured data. And all this is called as the big data. And these are few avenues or areas or locations where the data is being generated. Now, if you see in the first picture, you see the Mars rover over there. So we are sitting at planet Earth. The machine, that is why I said it is not only the human beings are generating the data. This Mars rover is a machine which is there on another planet. And that is why I say the data is being generated in the universe. So now this Mars rover sitting over there or running over there on planet Mars, taking the samples of the sand and rocks and all these things, taking the photographs of the environment over there, and sending it to planet Earth to the scientist over here for the research work. India is getting or moving towards digitalization. And that is why we have or we are trying to make possible all transactions in digital way. So their card systems are available. There are Google Pay sort of apps are available. So every single transactions which we are making is a new data point for the analysts like us, for the data scientists like us. When we say stock prices, changing prices every second, every fraction of second, just try to imagine that how many exchanges are there in the entire world. In India itself, we are having the broader exchanges are 2, that is Sensex and Nifty. Likewise, there are hundreds of different exchanges in the entire world. All these exchanges are having thousands of stocks. All these stocks are changing prices every second. Every new price of every stock is a new data point for the people like us who are into this analytical world. Internet of Things. Different gadgets are available, different tools we are using, different systems we are using. There are people who are carrying two or three mobiles. There are people who are having maybe two laptop, two desktop at home. And with this Wi-Fi and all these gadgets and systems are communicating with each other, and they are sharing the data with each other. All these gadgets like smart watches, or maybe nowadays we have glucometers at home. Now with this COVID thing, we have that pulse oximeter at home. Now all these equipments or gadgets which we are using are coming up with apps which are connected to the server of the manufacturer. If all of us started using this app and recording data of our day-to-day interactions or day-to-day lifestyles, store it in over there, just try to imagine that what a huge amount of data these manufacturers of these equipments are getting. And with this information, they are fine-tuning their products. You go to grocery shop, something like DMart, Big Bazaar, More, Reliance Fresh. Lakhs of thousands of people are making transaction over there, maybe in a month's time. Try to imagine that if every transaction is considered as new data point, and if I want to do some analysis over there from that data, let's say something like I want to find out the trend, that which product is moving fast, which product is going with what product. This is all called as analytics. All this stuff we are going to learn in this program. Just try to imagine that how many, as I have said, that how many platforms are available for us to communicate, generate the data, communicate the data. We have still not taken the example of e-commerce like Amazon, like Ola, like Uber, like Zomato. Just think on this and you will see some wondering numbers over there. If you try to even Google search, okay, if you can search it on Google, that how many tweets are being tweeted in every 60 seconds or every minute. 500 million tweets are being tweeted every day. 500 hours of video is being uploaded on YouTube every minute. 29 million messages are being sent in WhatsApp in every 60 seconds. 306 items are being purchased every second on Amazon. These are the numbers. These are the data points which excites people like us, that there is a lot of data available for us to do some analysis, for us to do better job for the organizations we are working for. Right? So now once we have seen all this, the question arises that how we can use it. Is there an opportunity for me? I am an engineer. Can I work into a pharmacy field? I have done a bachelor in education. Can I work on a project called transformer? I am an electrical engineer. Can I work on the project on cricket? I am a sportsman playing a Ranji level cricket, but I found interest in data science. I learned it, and I want to make a career into the analytical field. as far as financial markets are concerned, like I want to do a research on mutual funds. All these things are possible. So irrespective of your educational background, depending upon your interest and your domain capabilities or domain information, whatever you are having about any domain, you can just freely get into that field and start doing your analysis once you learn all these machine learning concepts and how to use it, how to use these algorithms. Because data will be changing. If you are working in an organization, your organization might have a project on electrical transformer. Maybe after 6 months, your organization may get a project to do some analytical work, maybe on a cricket ball. After 6 months, maybe your organization will get some project from the agriculture field. Because organizations are there to collect whatever opportunity they are getting to work on any project. If you are working in that organization, it depends on you whether you find interest in that particular project. If you want to work on that project, you have to improve your domain knowledge about that project. So how to improve the domain knowledge? By doing the research, by reading more and more things about that particular domain, by discussing with the experts which are already there from that particular domain. Because they are expert, let's say in banking, you are working as a data scientist on the data given by that bank, but maybe you are not understanding some of the data. You can discuss it with the expert who is in banking but who don't know anything about data science. And that is why it is called as untapped opportunity, and the opportunity is available for each and every one of us. And where the opportunity is available? Everywhere where the data is being generated. These are some of the statements made by some of the great magazines, business magazines, companies, people, organizations. And that is why we have to get into this. We have to learn these new concepts and build up upon our career. All these organizations are using the data for their own benefits. And all of them have started the analytical departments in-house. Vodafone has started it. Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company and General Insurance Company have started it. Almost 70 to 80% banks have started it. Almost 70 to 80% of insurance companies have started it. Almost all manufacturers working in motor segment, that is Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, Ford, all these companies have already started it. And obviously e-commerce is the base of the e-commerce is data analysis. Right? There are a lot of different projects, different opportunities available for all of us. The point over here is, if suppose the data is being generated, there are opportunities available for me. I am learning this data science and machine learning. Then which are the tools I should use, or I should learn, or I shall have the expertise in. So these are some numbers. If you see, in 2013, R was having this popularity, or you can say the market share, which has increased to 46.9 in 2014. Python was at number 5, has come to number 4 in 2014. In 2016, look at this, both of them are at the front runner. And in 2017, if you see the comparison between 15, 16, and 17, and all these tools are available over here. You can see Python, R language, SQL, RapidMiner, Excel, Spark, Anaconda, TensorFlow, Scikit-learn, Tableau. Okay, all these things. Just look at that. Python is way ahead of all of us, all of other tools. Okay, and just after that, Python, the R language is there. Right? And that is why we have to learn this Python and R. But in this program, we are extensively going to use the Python. We have seen the broader outline of R, because learning two languages simultaneously is, creating some confusion. There is a possibility. So once you learn it, everything with Python, it is very easy for you guys to learn the R as well. Or any other tool for that matter. Even if you want to learn Minitab, if you want to learn Microsoft Azure, if you want to learn Power BI, okay, because what we are going to learn is the concepts, the foundation of machine learning. And for that, we are going to use only one tool, because it is not required to learn all the tools at the one go. But we can see the overview about it, and then if the requirement is like that for any project, you can learn that tool as well, because your foundation will be strong by the end of this course. Right? Now, what is machine learning? Machine learning is a core transformative way by which we are rethinking everything we are doing. This is what the definition given by Sundar Pichai. Everyone knows him as the CEO of Google. And this is the network. This is the, what you can say, this is how we express the neural network. Okay, so this is DNN, deep neural network, which is a quite advanced topic. So a lot of mathematical calculations are happening over here at every layer. And then we get the final results. But from the point of view of a layman, those who don't know anything about machine learning and all, what is it all about, then for them, this diagram illustrates the basics of it. So the machine learning is a type of artificial intelligence that provides computers with the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed, which means we are not going to be a programmer over here. We are going to use this Python or R or all these programming languages only to the, what you can say, only up to the capacity as far as data science is concerned, as far as machine learning is concerned. Okay, so learning data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence is not becoming a software programmer. For that, you need to learn only a programming language like C programming, Python programming, R programming. And you will enter into just the core programming part of it. Right? But here, we are using these programming tools, maybe 20%, 25% capacity, to write the models, to write the predictive models, to write the classification models, to write the application for artificial intelligence, to write the application using deep learning techniques. And the fundamental or the foundation of all this is machine learning. And what is machine learning? So we have seen the definition on the last slide, and this is what the flow chart of machine learning or machine learning modeling. So you are going to always have a labeled data. I have already explained what is labeled data is. Once you have that labeled data, you will choose a machine learning algorithm based on your priorities, based on your business problem, right? So maybe your business problem is to write a predictive modeling. Maybe your business problem is to write a classification model. Maybe your business problem is to write just a simply segmentation model or the clustering model. So it depends on what type of project you are working on. And based on that, you will choose your algorithm. So what are the different types of algorithm we have? Let's say we have linear regression, or we have logistic regression, or we have hierarchical clustering, or we have naive based, or we have decision tree, or we have random forest, or we have ANN, and so on. So there are a lot of different algorithms. Based on my business problem, I will choose any one of the algorithm, and I will train that algorithm, I will train that model, which will be finally called as my learned model. To this learned model, I will give my fresh data, and on this fresh data, this learned model will give me the predictions. This is the entire architecture of machine learning, right? And these are some of the applications we have already known about this: photo tagging, loan approvals. A lot of banks are using this loan approval thing, targeted online ads. You guys have simply searched for data science program in Google, and now anytime you watch YouTube, anytime you scroll your Facebook page, anytime you scroll your LinkedIn page or wall, so to call, and you will see the advertisement regarding data science over there. That is what is called as targeting online ads. Speech recognition, language translation, preventive maintenance, self-driving cars. All these are examples or applications of machine learning. Okay, there are some examples belongs to life sciences or medical sciences, like cancer detection, or whether a particular disease is present in particular's body or not. Okay, that can also be done by using machine learning. And this is all a latest development. If you see, okay, the AICTE has said or have started that the engineering students will study big data analytics, artificial intelligence, robotics, and Internet of Things, and they will undergo the mandatory induction programs for this one. And this news is from 2017. So hardly 3-4 years back. 3 years back, because it is November 2017. So these are all recent developments happening as far as education industry is concerned. And that is why we all have to learn, because this is going to be the future. Okay. Now this is the fantastic example. The marketing world is going to be a different world altogether. The deliveries of the products can be done by using drones. And this is actually happening in some part of the world. Now, this drone is nothing but an application of artificial intelligence. It has sensors, it has cameras, but what these sensors and cameras are doing, they're capturing the data. And whenever the data comes in over there, we are become very important over there, because we are going to be the champion of handling, processing, clearing, cleaning, using this data to write the decision-making models, right? So this is the fantastic example. This name his person's name is Avinash. He's from Hyderabad. So he is also, I think, IIM graduate or IIT graduate. I don't remember exactly, right? But then quite educated guy. But his passion was towards politics. So he started using his passion to generate his career. So even though he was from engineering background, he did not get into any manufacturing field or any IT related or software development sort of things, applications or development sort of things. I mean, I'm talking about the regular IT jobs. But he used his domain knowledge about politics to make his career by using data science and machine learning and deep learning and artificial intelligence. He is one of the guys who helped Mr. Trump to win the election of 2015. And that is why I say that whenever we are learning this or you are learning this with me, I expect only three things from you. While you are learning statistical, data mining, data visualization, and forecasting with me, I expect only three things, and these are: learn all these agenda topics with me, practice them hard. Whatever case studies, whatever business problems, whatever projects we are doing in the class, I'm going to share those files with you. Just practice them from different angles. And decide now that in which domain you want to make a career in. Whatever your strong domain is there, try to gain more and more knowledge about that domain and get into this. If you do this, all three things simultaneously over the period of time, maybe 3 to 6 months consistently, then you can definitely be a successful data scientist. That's my promise. Right? So this is what all about the introduction part as far as data science is concerned. So any questions from this segment?